Whew. How you doing, everybody? So we are out here at, where are we? I'll have to look it up. We just passed Curly Maple Shelter, I think. Anyway, we're north of Irwin, or south of Irwin, excuse me. And usually when I find water break places or places that are really pretty, there's zero service. However, we've got a little mountain stream up here, a little spring that we can actually have some service where we're at. I think the service should be pretty well. Is the service okay? I'm assuming the service is okay. I had a few bars. Hey everybody. Whew, I'll tell you what, today has been something. It has been a crazy, well, not crazy, but it's a pretty good hike. I think we've done about 10 miles today. Want to try and get in a couple more. Too buggy. All right, well, so I got up here and wanted to start the live. This is where we're at. Copper found him a little hole, and he's about ready to start looking for our camp spot. He doesn't look very happy right now. Copper pot. He's tired. Ankle is feeling much better. Hadn't really given you guys an update. I know I didn't know exactly when I was going to be coming back. We had talked about, a couple weeks, but went to the doctor, got some shots, got some medicine, drinking lots of black cherry juice, and it started feeling a lot better. So decided to come back up here and get on the trail because there's a lot going on later on. I've already been gone a long time, 6 weeks or so from the house. We got 2 more. Well, 6 weeks to the left. I was down at the homestead for 4 or 5 days. Left on Wednesday, came back on Monday, up here to the mountains, and started walking on Tuesday. So, good trip so far. On a plus note, and we had 0 service, so I couldn't do a live or anything like that yesterday. But finally caught me fish yesterday and ate some trout. So when I get back in on a resupply, or when I get home, I will be able to put that video up, and you guys will see Aaron finally being able to catch him a little fish. That was good. So now I've been waiting until I'm sweating. It's a heck of a trip. Oh. So this stream here comes straight up out of the ground right back there. Like that feels. See where all those rocks are right back there? That's where this water originates. So this is about some of the cleanest water that you can find. Oh man, and it is cold. You can't find that in the store. I don't care. That is amazing. Oh. Now I've got me a drink. Find me a spot to sit down for a minute. These logs will work. Bear with me just a second while I get the camera organized, and then as more people hop on, I will take them and show them the spring too. There we go. Oh yeah, it's nice to be back on the trail. We've been making more mileage, obviously being in better shape and used to it, and having the worst part of the other, not drinking and not smoking under my belt. We've been able to make more miles between Since 12 o'clock yesterday, which is about when I got started yesterday, we have walked about almost 20 miles. By the end of the day, probably about 22 yesterday and today. So we've been getting on with it pretty good. Yeah, I saw somebody comment on the beard. It's driving me crazy. As soon as I'm done with the walk, and I planned on this anyway, it's coming off. It's coming off for a little while. I've even had to start carrying a comb because this thing gets singled up and matted and starts getting all bushy. And oh, I can't take it anymore. So that'll be part of what happens before I go home. It's a symbolic gesture, a new me, a new Aaron. Shave the beard off for a little while. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we are like, it wouldn't look like we're pretty high where we're at with this little spring and all, but let's see, we are actually, we're not super high. Well, we're at 3,500 feet. We were at 3,500 feet, and this section of the climb over the next 5 days, does nothing but go up. I started yesterday at about 1,500, a little under 1,500 feet. So in 19 miles, we've, well, 19 miles doesn't actually even count because a lot of that was fishing and going downhill at Hidden Lake. We've gained 2,000 feet since 12 o'clock today. And that makes for a pretty good bit of sweat. The springs and up in the mountains, the springs come straight out of the rock, so it is filtered. It does have time to filter, and maybe for some people, that might be the case. A higher probability they're married, but I grew up drinking mountain spring water, and so I guess maybe I just have a tolerance to it. I don't think, honestly, I'll be completely honest, since I've been out here, I have not treated any water a single time, not once. But I've also been able, so far being up in the Smokies, we've ran across springs and little springs and creeks, at least every 4 or 5 hours to be able to refill the water. So it's good, and I don't have to taste. I've even got a squeeze filter. I've got chlorine tablets and all that kind of stuff, but it's all good. Yes, I have lost weight. I'm gonna save that for when we get back. I'm gonna save that for when. I'm sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. I'm tired. Snakes? No, not really. Actually, I did see one today. It was a little one. What's it called? It was a black snake, but it had a little about this long, and it had a little yellow band around its neck. I think it's not good. I think it might have been a poisonous one. I couldn't remember. Didn't have enough service to pull it up. But it was just minding its own business going across the trail. It looked like a big old earthworm, but it was really pretty. The driver didn't run me off. He was actually a little bit disappointed that I was leaving as quick as I was again. I think so, but we had a good time. If you guys watched I think his pulse is probably still racing a little bit from thinking the tractor got stolen. So he really bright orange ring. It was beautiful, pretty little snake. I've seen a couple of brown snakes and black snakes, not much. We've seen, I guess since we first started, we've seen 3 or 4 bears, a lot of deer. Pretty much all kinds of, all the animals you can see out here. Me and Copper sat a little while ago, taking a break for probably about 45 minutes, and Copper slept for a minute, and then 2 squirrels started fighting, and we sat for probably 45 minutes. Copper sat there with me watching these stupid squirrels jumping around in the trees. The guy didn't bark at him or anything. He just looking at him like, what in the world are you idiots doing? So that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Sometimes, yeah, it depends. When you're walking, coming across other people out here, when you're walking, it just kind of depends. Um, don't pass a lot of people right now walking, because I actually just did a video about this. The so you have all your through hikers when everything's really crowded. They start down in Georgia around April, May, generally, and they start up in Maine around the same time, April, May. And so right now I'm in a bubble. All your through hikers that started in Georgia they're already way north. And all your southbound hikers that started in Maine, they are probably right now down mid-Atlantic somewhere. They haven't made it down this far south. So really, all the people I've encountered a few through hikers, but most of the people that I've come across have been all day hikers or section hikers, like I am. Going out for 2 or 3 weeks, week, day, whatever. But not a huge volume of through hikers, just because of how the timeline works. So hasn't been bad. We haven't set the tent up in a while. We'll see what time. There's a chance of rain. We'll see what time that chance happens, and tonight whether I set it up. Really, unless it's a really, really buggy area, or unless it's I think it might rain. We don't even worry about it. I've set the sleeping bag down and my poncho liner and poncho, and we just go to sleep. Saves time, and it's kind of a hassle. Copper, in case anyone has not noticed, Copper's got bigger, and if I do set the tent up, I'm not really setting up a tent for me. I'm setting up a tent for Copper. That's about how that works. And he is a tent hog. So right now you can see, right now he is passed out. Copper, are there eyeballs in there? Copper pot. Oh goodness, that's funny. All right, so let me see. I'm doing good, and somebody asked how long till we bed down for the night. It's still, it's not too late. Get bored if I set down too early and stop. So we'll probably go maybe another 2 miles. Well, we'll start walking. I'm not going to say 2 whole miles. We're going to start walking and find us a good camping spot. So how far will we go till we bed down for the night? 1 mile, half a mile, 100 feet, 5 miles. Until we find a good camping spot with a little bit of a little fire pit. And I've been making little fires every night. It helps with the bugs. I really had any issues with bugs using the cedarwood oil, but that helps with the mosquitoes and the bites. Just make a little fire and put a bunch of leaves on it so it smokes like crazy. I smell pretty weird right now, between fish from yesterday and smoke and just smelling bad. So yes, I guess I said that at the beginning. I did yesterday. I did catch some fish. There was no service or anything, but I got it all on video. 2 really big trout. Well, one was okay, but one of them actually was probably the biggest rainbow trout I've ever caught. I finally found a spot where the water was cold enough. I'm right where I was when I left off. Well, now I'm like 20 miles away, where I left last week. Where actually I think just a little bit, even though we're northbound hiking, right now we're southbound. We're south of Irwin. The trail goes south for about 30 or 40 miles down over Roan Mountain before it curves back up and starts going to Lake Watauga, which is where kind of my next stop's going to be, hopefully sometime this weekend. No, he's got his vest on. He's got his vest on right now. I try just to put this on when we're walking, because he's going to be wearing his working dog vest eventually. So he has it on. But But until he gets his, so with the vest, I put it on when we're walking or when we're training. If we're not walking, or if he's not working, like if he's not with me on the leash, you know, where we'll be running into people or he'll be doing his job, I just let him go. I just let him use a collar, and that way he starts to associate the working dog vest with work. You know, he can play, he can lick, he can have a good time if he doesn't have the vest on. You know, that's fine. But as soon as the vest goes on, he's got to you gotta, you know, pay attention. And obviously he's a little bit young to really comprehend that, but I'm trying to instill that in his head. Yeah, the humidity, the humidity here in the mountains isn't that bad anyway. Nothing like South Georgia. So, but yeah, it does. As the higher you go, it does. The temperature cools off a little bit. And I'll probably, next few nights, it might even be a little bit chilly. Because we head over Roan Mountain. I'm not sure if it is the highest point on the AT, but it is definitely one of the highest points on the AT. Roan Mountain crests about 6,400 feet. So over the next 2 to 3 days, I will have went from 1,500 feet to 6,500 feet and about 60 miles in 4 days, 70 miles in 4 days. So we're making good time, and much easier this time around. 2 days in on part one, which is part one and part two. 2 days in on part one of the trip, I barely stand up. I was hurting so bad. So it's much better, and this time around, actually a little bit more enjoyable. I caught fish. Maybe that's why it seems so much better. And they were delicious. We got them all cooked up. And definitely can't argue with an 18-inch rainbow trout. But yeah, we didn't know keep going if I'd have any service. And since I started walking yesterday and we walked today, I thought I would give you guys an update. I'm tired of standing up. You guys couldn't see the pretty water in there before. It's almost wet down here. A little bit damp, but everything is dry. Oh, how long am I going to be out this time? I kind of pulled a fast one, I guess. Not a fast one, but I was going to be out for 30 days. But since I had to go home for a little while, you know, I got to see everybody. I decided to add an extra week on. So total time out on the trail now is going to be 5 weeks instead of 4, because we were 3 weeks and then I added a week. So from today, actually 2 weeks from today, I started walking 2 weeks from yesterday. I started walking yesterday, and I plan on heading back to the homestead next Wednesday, or Wednesday after next. So we're about 2 more weeks, and we'll see how much mileage we can make. Stepping up the mileage on this route, on this part, and doing a little bit less fishing now that I caught the fish. If I don't find any more good fishing spots by next Saturday or Sunday, I am going to circle around on the last resupply, and I'm going to go back to the area I was where I caught those fish and spend a day or two doing nothing but fishing. I would have liked to stay there a bit longer. I had no cell service at all, and I hadn't really made those plans to stay there and not, you know, for safety reasons, contact people and tell them where I was. So I wasn't able to stay there. We just decided to walk. But it was at Lost Cove. We found Lost Cove, found part of Lost Cove. Really, really cool. I'll be doing that video too as soon as I get around to a computer. And but we missed part of it, actually. As I was walking down the railroad tracks, there were some people walking up the railroad tracks that were going to Lost Cove, and one of the guys knew where it was, and he was asking me if I found it, and I was talking to him about it. I'm like, yeah, I found it, but but the apparently it lives up to its name, Lost Cove, because where I found one house and, you know, some remnants of houses and an old frame, but where the main settlement is really well hidden. And since I didn't have any service, and I thought I had downloaded the satellite imagery, and I didn't, I couldn't pull the satellite imagery. And from what I can tell, once I got service and looked at the satellite imagery, I think I missed it by a mile. Or not a mile. I think I missed it by like 100 or 200 feet, and I just missed the little entrance to the little cove up there where the main part of the settlement was. So that kind of bummed me out a little bit. So I was real excited about seeing that. But we got good videos. We caught fish. Still saw some really cool stuff. And since I caught those fish, Robert was saying he's not sure, because I've been trying to get him to come up. You know, I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it up because he's real busy and stuff too. So I sent him pictures of those fish and me eating them, and right after I caught them. And so now, hopefully, I think I've got him talked into, at the very end of the trip, when I said I'm planning on going back there anyway, coming down here and us going finding the main part of Lost Cove for him to do on Sidestep Adventures. And we can do our fishing competition instead of doing it with sunfish. And down in Georgia, we can do our fishing competition with trout. That sounds way more fun. So, I guess a few people have just came on. So, saw somebody ask, where's Copper Pot? And my gout is much better. It has cleared up, and most of it's all healed, the damage. Oh, there he is. You could walk right by, if you were walking this trail, you could walk, if you probably wouldn't notice him. You could walk right by him and have no clue. If it wasn't for his vest and leash, you would have absolutely no clue that there was even a puppy dog laying right there. Especially if you back up a little bit, you can't see him at all. You can just see the leash going up. That's pretty funny. Oh yeah, and that trout was delicious. Just olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic. Salt, pepper, garlic, and tinfoil. And luckily we were next to the train tracks, because it made it easy. The big flat pieces that hold the railroad ties down, I was able to flip that over in the fire and set my tinfoil on that, and had a little pan. Made it basically a big heavy, like 30-pound pan, and it cooked up just almost perfectly. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and like I said, Lost Cove has a graveyard. I missed the main settlement. I found the one house, and people have said a lot of stuff has been falling apart. I missed the one house, or I found the one house and car, and I mean, we walked around and around and around for probably an hour, and it's just hidden, I guess, the entrance, like where you have to go. There's not a trail up to the town anymore, so you just kind of got to know where it is. And I hope Robert goes. That's to be seen. He's trying to work schedule. You know, he's busy. He got all his stuff going on too. But I'm really hoping that he can come down and we can go down there for a day. So that'll be a good time. And you can see this is the whole reason we were here. Sorry guys, making everybody seasick. And that's oh, there we go. So Copper loves to climb. He likes being on things. If there's something to be on, he will be on it. And he drives me crazy with it sometimes. But he likes the high ground. But yeah, what we were doing, I had a chance to get a live video actually at one of the little springs here. Refill our water. And you can see the rocks where the spring comes straight up out of the ground. It is so good. When I was at Lost Cove, I forget the name of the creek that comes down, I found a spot. It's just a little creek, a little bigger than this, and there was a hole, like a swimming hole, but beautiful. You gotta love it. like cascade coming down the mountains, little waterfalls that went into a pool that was about 3 foot deep and probably 8 foot across, right off a little waterfall. And I was hot. We didn't have to go up, we had to come down, which is even worse from the trailhead we started. But we'd been walking around looking for Lost Cove, and so nobody else around, and I hopped in that. I took my clothes off and hopped in that pool. Oh man, I'm telling you what, I thought my whole system was just going to shut down. That was cold water, but it felt amazing. It felt amazing after I got dressed again. I'm not going to say it felt great while I was in there, but it was invigorating, to say the least. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he's been around the goat so much. Yeah, that's actually been the past, after I left and then starting, I'm noticing it today a little bit. It's actually been a little bit problematic because a lot of the springs that normally are here, you'll see them and they're still damp, but there's no water running. So water's a little bit further apart. Still, we did the first part of the trip, we hit water every 20 minutes. I mean, at least every hour. Now we're hitting water every 2 hours maybe. Probably still every hour. But I'm, being cognizant of that and making sure every time we pass something like this, we top off, all our water tanks. That's one of the things that makes so much weight right now, is because I'm carrying water for Copper too, and for his dehydrated dog food and everything. If you see most people, they carry like 2 liters or so of water. I'm carrying 6, and that adds a lot of weight. But you guys have seen in my videos, I sweat a lot. I drink a lot more than normal people, because I sweat so much. So I carry a little extra weight, but better not having any water. Okay, yeah, let me back up there. Yes, I'm back on the trail. My gout cleared up nice and fast. I went back down to the homestead last Wednesday and came back up on Monday, because everything felt a lot better. Hung out with Robert, and since I was down there, editing the videos as I go when I get access to a computer. We started walking again yesterday, but I put the practical joke I pulled on Robert up, and we were in Lost Cove, didn't really have any cell service anyway, so had none, 0 cell service up there, so I couldn't do it live last night. But yeah, I'm going for 14 days, 2 weeks from yesterday, so I still got 13 days, and we're putting in more mileage. We're heading up, we're doing about, today we've done right at 10. Since yesterday, we've put in 19. So we've been putting a lot of miles on the boots. Doctor I went to my own doctor, and they've been dealing with my gout for a while. And that doesn't happen a lot, like once every year or so, but they have a formula that works. Gave me medicine to clear it all up. So everything's all good to go. Yeah, a lot of people probably thought that. That's kind of why I did that video the way I did, to bring everybody along, make everybody experience the emotions that Robert felt. Kind of mean, I know. But yeah, he deserved that one. And I have no doubts he's working on figuring something out to get me back. I'm already working on stuff to get him back for when he gets me back. You gotta stay a couple steps ahead. You gotta have stuff. You gotta have stuff in the wings waiting to bring it out. So, but yeah, anybody. But it is nice, and you guys can see where we're at right now. We're at about 3,500 feet, and you can't see it. I had to kind of pick between a pretty shot of the mountains, and I was going to try and do the live when I found a clearing up high. I knew it had service, but I had service right here down next to this little spot, and it is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. The rhododendron, the blooms are just falling off the rhododendron. They're still blooming here in a few places. Oh, am I? Okay. I moved away from the service. I went to the other side. Is that better? I went to the other side. Apparently there's not much service on the other side of the spring here. Well, that's good. I'm sure I'll find it there, Eddie. If I don't, I'll get up with you and ask you to dial me in a little bit on those directions. As like I said, I found the one house on the trail, and then we walked around and found the remnants. Found a lot of remnants and stuff, and where there were houses, but I never found the last few houses that are standing, or the graveyard. I just missed it by a couple feet. And on my GPS, you can see where I was looking at it, comparing it to the map. After I got back to the cell phone service, when I pulled up exactly where it's supposed to be, and I think I just missed it by just a few minutes. All right. Well, it appears that our service is maybe going kaput for the day. It does that. It'll be good for a minute and then disappear. So I just wanted to do a live update real quick and say hi, and I'll let you all know what's going on. Show you our little fresh water we found. And since we don't have our camping spot for the night, I think it's about time for us to go hop off here, and I will get back on later. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.